Welcome to Break Time with Lynn. I wanted to talk about this time. I want to talk about annual passes and when I had my annual pass. The first time, so before that, going to Disneyland was kind of like maybe a once a year thing. You go with my family growing up. This was in the 80s, 70s, 80s. And we would go as a family. And after that, as I became a teenager, early teenager, maybe 15, 16, I was in marching band at the high school I attended, and I played drums, and we would go and march down Main Street, down the parade route. Then that would usually happen at I don't know, somewhere between 11 and 3. And then when we would have free roam of the park, and then we had to meet at a bus in the parking lot at a certain time, probably that night, like at 11 or something. Maybe even midnight, I don't remember, but pretty late. And so those, I did that twice. We didn't go my senior year. There was something going on that year, but I remember going my sophomore and junior year and doing that. And that was a lot of fun. Then I had an annual pass. My first one was probably, I'm guessing it was like 88, my junior year, I believe. And the reason I got it was that my friend John, his mom had purchased an annual pass for he and his girlfriend, and they had broken up or something, and so his mom gave me the pass. It hadn't been used yet, so it wasn't under their names yet. So John and I went down and did the processing, and I can't remember where that was because I was trying to remember in the early 80s, because I know that eventually moved to the bank on Main Street. It could have been there, but I don't remember where it was. At least I don't remember getting the picture taken. So then John and I would go, this was junior year and part of my senior year, and John didn't go to school with me. He went to a private school, I believe, and then later didn't go to school. I think he had taken the test to get his diploma. But we would go like on a Friday or Saturday night, or sometimes like during the summer, and we would just hang out. We'd go to Videopolis and hang out. Try to, talk to girls and stuff. And we weren't much of the dancers, so we would just kind of hang out there. And every now and then we'd ask some girls, "Oh, do you want to ride on Matterhorn or Splash Mountain or something?" And it was funny that we did that a few times. It was fun, but nothing ever happened out of that, or came out of that. So I don't remember a lot of specifics on that. I mean, John and I would ride some rides. I remember riding the rockets that were up high when they were on the People Mover, on top in Tomorrowland, and being up high. I remember riding that and thinking that we were gonna, John was yelling out, and in the middle of the ride, as we're going around, as we're up like 60 feet in the air. I don't remember how high, but yelling, "What if this thing broke off and we smashed into the Matterhorn?" Although we were probably 300 feet from the Matterhorn, but it was just a funny memory. So then I had an annual pass. Probably the next time after that wasn't for a little while. I don't think it was until, because I went. So this is what happened. So I didn't. Let's see. I had a senior year, graduated. I was working at J.C. Penney's, and then I applied for Disneyland think it was 1991, and I went to work at the Plaza Inn complex, they called it, which was in between Plaza Pavilion and Plaza Inn. In between was the cast member restaurant cafeteria that they had. I think they still have it. It's behind Plaza Inn restaurant. And so I worked at any one of those three locations, although 2 times I worked in the bakery, because they used to have the main bakery was right behind the Plaza Inn, next to like the in-between back there. And I helped like load sugar and flour into big bins that would stir things and things like that, clean dishes. And then, so so I worked there, 91. I was seasonal, I believe, but I worked a lot of weekends in between all that. So seasonal, normally work like summer, Christmas break, spring break, some of the bigger holiday weekends, Thanksgiving. And then, so pretty much from Thanksgiving on, I believe it was like that month there or more. And then every now and then I get called in to do like a Saturday or Sunday. And then, so I did that, and that went on for about 2 years to 93. So I didn't need a pass then, but during that time I was able to get in. And I did that off and on when I was able to, but I don't remember like going there and hanging out a whole lot on my own or with anyone with my pass. I think I did a few times, but not a whole lot. And then 93-ish came, and I got an annual pass. And I had one, and I used to go with my friend Neil. And Neil and I, we would, I'd always pick him up, and we would grab something to eat sometimes on the way there, or we'd eat something there. But I remember parking out in like where Indiana Jones, like in that parking lot, kind of near where Indiana Jones is. This was prior to that, I believe. And so we'd park there. I remember just walking in. We never really took the tram, and we didn't need to. And we used to just hang out. We used to go over to Tomorrowland Terrace. Now again, there was a band playing. We were not really dancers. There might have been 1 or 2 times that we did, but yeah, we pretty much just hung out. There was a whole bunch of friends, other people kind of within our group and outside of our group that used to hang out, and we knew they had passes, and we'd kind of meet up sometimes. Before cell phones, when you could text someone and go, "Hey, meet me over here," it would just kind of happen. And we'd hang out, we'd go on rides sometimes, sometimes we wouldn't even go on a ride, we'd just go and hang out and walk around. Again, I think we were looking for girls, but I don't think anything came out of that. But we had a good time. We had a lot of memories of doing that, going there. So that was a period where I had a pass with Neil and some other friends, and we used to go and hang out during that period. That was like 93 to like 95, 92 to 95, somewhere in there. And then after that, I had an annual pass still, and it's like 94 or 5, somewhere in there, 95. I started hanging out with a different group of people, not really different, but another group of people also. And I used to go off and on with others, and I'd go with another friend that I had named Cheryl, and we used to go every now and then, and her friend Laura, and we'd go and just walk around and go on things and eat some, different places. I had a lot of fun, and that kind of led me into when I had an annual pass when I started dating my wife, Erin. So when I first met her, I think she already had a pass, or she got one right after. But I remember going with her, and she had worked at a coffee shop in Seal Beach, and that was actually where I kind of met her. I mean, I'd known her from other friends, but I hadn't seen her in years, and kind of ran into her there, and we started talking, and so, but she had a pass, so sometimes she would get off work there, and I'd just pick her up at like 9:30 at night, and we'd just drive to Disneyland from there. From there, it was maybe like 15 minutes. And we would hang out and go to Disneyland. And we wouldn't get there till like 10 at night, but we would only hang out for like 2 hours. But that was fun. It was something that we did. I'll have a lot of memories with that. And other times we would go just all day. We'd go on a weekday if she wasn't working. I didn't have anything going on. We would just go during the week. Get there in the morning and stay till 3 or 4 o'clock, or get there at noon and stay till midnight or whatever. But it wasn't that we tried to rush and get on everything. It was sort of like having a pass sort of enabled you to just kind of hang out and just explore the places that maybe you don't normally get to. Wouldn't necessarily hit all the big rides, Sometimes we would, but it wasn't a thing that we needed to do. And that was one of the advantages of having an annual pass and living so close. So Erin and I used to go, we saw the opening of like Tomorrowland, the new Tomorrowland, 98, I believe it was. And I remember waiting in line for the Rocket Rods around the first time it opened. And the line was all the way out onto Main Street, like around the Plaza Inn restaurant out there down by the corn dog truck there. And I remember waiting in line for that for like 2 hours and being a little bit disappointed of that. Not as disappointed as some people have said, but I thought it was pretty decent. And I was more impressed. I liked the queue. It was really different how they had built a tunnel that went underneath from like the old Circle Vision building that went down underneath, and it'd come up in the tower where like People Mover loading area was. You'd go up the stairs there and get on the ride from there. But I remember, going there with her and seeing that. And then in August of 1998, the summer, I was on tour with a band, came back, didn't have a job. If I did, it wasn't that good, but didn't really have a job, and thought, you know what, I love going to Disneyland. Why not try for a job there? And so I did. I got hired into custodial, and that is the beginning of my Disneyland career there. But I had an annual pass, and I think I had just renewed mine like a few months before I got hired in. So, and of course, there's no refunds or anything. So, but I had now I was able to get into the park because I worked there. So, I didn't really need the annual pass. And my wife and I would still go off and on. Probably not as often after I started working there, but we did go sometimes. And have a lot of cool memories going with her before we were married, even working there. And I remember going to see the Angels parade after they had won the World Series in 2002. And the Country Bear Jamboree, one of the last days, I remember going there with her. That was just a day or two before 9/11 actually happened. But I remember going there with her for that. So that was kind of the end of my annual pass. But annual passes, I mean, if you live nearby and it's something you like to do often, I know that it's expensive now, but it still seems like a good value. Now I don't know what's going to happen now. The parks now, as of today, have been closed for 6 months, over 6 months. So I don't know what's going to happen nowadays with the annual passes and what the future is for that. We will find out soon, probably. But anyhow, hope you enjoyed that look at just kind of my history of having an annual pass. Maybe someday I'll have another one. I do live 400 miles away, maybe 380, but who knows? Maybe I'll get one because I like to go often. We will see. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Again, go back and check out. I did 2 other ones of these short mini Sweet Spot episodes. So check those out. Don't forget that also if you want more content, we have the bonus episodes. If you become a Patreon, search Patreon and then search the Sweet Spot, and you get $5 or more a month, and you'll get included and receiving the bonus episode that Ken and I do once a month for that. All right, well, we'll talk to you next time on the main show.